Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, sorry for the delay on this deck profile. I've actually been trying to adjust my Blue Eyes deck accordingly. So, yeah, it's finally ready. This is actually my 300th deck profile, and I can't believe it. So I was like, you know what? I'll do Blue Eyes this time because Blue Eyes is actually one of the first decks I used to get back into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And probably the first one I've used when I got back into the game to get second place at my locals. So, yeah, so I figured, you know what? I'm going to make this extra special by adjusting the deck way differently than I normally would. So, yeah, it's almost like a completely different direction in my Blue Eyes strategy. So, yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So, main deck is 40 cards, starting off with 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. So I'm using my golden secret rares, just for the occasion. Next, 2 copies of Alternative, just because, it counts as Blue Eyes White Dragon. I only run 2 simply because, it can be a brick at 3, so yeah, you don't really need to see 3 of this. Next, 1 Dragon Spirit of White. So when this card is summoned, you get to banish a spell or trap card, and plus it counts as a Blue Eyes card, so you can summon this off of White Stone of Ancients. Next, 3 copies of Sage, one of your starters. If it's normal summon, you can add a level 1 light tuner monster. So this basically searches Effect Veiler too, so if you want to go with that. It also has a discarding effect where you target an effect monster, send it to the grave, and then you can special summon a Blue Eyes directly from your deck. So really good. Next, 3 White Stone of Ancients. So during the end phase, and it's not a hard once per turn, so just bear that in mind, you can special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck. Now, the only part that is a hard once per turn is its banishment effect, where you could recycle one of your Blue Eyes White Dragons or any other Blue Eyes card in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. And to go along with it, 1 copy of White Stone of Legend, since it has a mandatory effect to search out a Blue Eyes White Dragon. So, yeah. Now, for the other big boss dragons, I am running 1 copy of Galactic Spiral Dragon. I'm not running Nebula because I don't really like its restrictions. But I do like Galactic Spiral a little bit more because as long as you have 2 or more light or dark dragon monsters on field, you can special summon this card from your hand or grave in defense mode, but you have to banish it. But I like the fact that it's a level 8 monster, so you could just go for free rank 8 plates this way and constantly recycle it as Xyz material. And also, not to mention, it's just free discard fodder for your trade-in or your Melody of the Awakening Dragon. Because, like, for me, I like to play cards that give you extra value. Kind of like in the Despians, I like to run Albion because it never really feels like a brick. Because either way, he gives you added value regardless. So that's what I like about Galactic Spiral Dragon. 1 copy of Chaos Dragon Levianeer. So if you banish, I mostly use it for its banish 3 lights, but occasionally I do pull off the light and dark banishment where you get to pop up to 2 cards, but I like to banish 3 lights just to get a free monster directly from my graveyard in defense mode. Of course, you can't attack once you resolve those effects, but I mean, it's just another level 8, so why not? And I got the ultimate rare, so happy with that. And I'm still running the 1 copy of Chaos Emperor Dragon of Armageddon because its pendulum effect is really good. You pay 1,000 to recycle 1 of your cards, or you can just simply use his monster effect where you can send all monsters on the main monster zones to the grave and burn your opponent for 300 points for each one that was sent to their graveyard. So it's a good way just to kind of help you close out games, so why not? Alright, and then for hand traps, let me go and get these to the side here. I'm running 3 copies of Ash Blossom just because, generically good. And I mentioned that Effect Veiler is searchable in this deck. If you don't like 3 Ash, you could go 2 Ash and 2 Veiler. It's really up to you. I just go 3 and 1 just because, you don't want to run too many bricks in your deck. So that's kind of the thing. Moving on to spells already. 3 copies of Melody of the Awakening Dragon. Discard a card and add up to 2 dragons with 3,000 or more attack and 2,500 or less defense. So this searches out Levianeer for you too. 3 trade-in. 3 Return of the Dragon Lord, since you do run a lot of level 8 dragons. In case if I get disrupted, I am running 2 copies of Triple T, so I can still draw 2 cards, or if I want to, I could just simply rip a card out of my opponent's hand and add it back to their hand. Or if I'm trying to bait out a negate, like from a Dragoon, for example, I can play this, take control of that Dragoon, or any other monster, and just kind of go from there. Oops. 1 for 1, it's limited. Only 1 Dragon Shrine because it is a hard once per turn, and if you happen to open up with 2, it can be pretty nasty. And of course, 1 Foolish Barrel, so that's why I like to run 1 of each. And then 1 Monster Reborn. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the spell lineup. Alright. For the trap cards, and yes, I am running more trap cards this time around. 2 copies of True Light this time. I tried it at 3, it bricked so much, so I decided to bump it down to 2, and it felt a lot better. 2 copies of Ultimate Creature of Destruction. Target a Blue Eyes monster you control, and then it's unaffected by card effects, and it can't be destroyed by battle. And also, if it battles an opponent's monster, you could destroy that monster at the end of the damage step. So yeah, pretty good. And it recycles itself so long as you summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Also, I forgot to mention about True Light is that it's basically this deck's version of Eternal Soul. I think, yeah, Eternal Soul is it? Brings back a Blue Eyes White Dragon, and also you could set a spell or trap directly from your deck that lists Blue Eyes White Dragon in its name, so you can only use one of its effects per turn. But anyway, it's a good way to just get access to your ultimate creature of destruction. And another card I like to go along with our True Light is one copy of Destined Rivals. If you control Blue Eyes or Dark Magician, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of the turn. So definitely a good way just to, you know, like if your opponent tries to negate something, you can just chain this and then you just negate everything in return. So yeah, it's pretty nuts. So I'm surprised I never really played this card much sooner, but I'm glad I am, because again, True Light kind of gives you instant access to it. So yeah, not too bad. All right, for the extra deck, 2 copies of Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. So I'm bringing this guy up back to 2 just because, you know, it just gives you an access to another light synchro monster as long as it's dragon type. Next, 1 copy of Azure Eyes to go along with it. And 1 copy of Black Rose Moonlit Dragon as a form of disruption. So if you tribute your Spirit Dragon, summon this off, you get to bounce back a special summon monster your opponent controls. 1 Halki Fibrax, 1 Hieratic Seal, 1 Link Rebo. And because, believe it or not, I'm no longer running Pisty or Saryuj anymore, mainly because I'm not running World Legacy Guardragon anymore. So, like, I just couldn't really make them work consistently anymore. So, for one of my big Link monsters I'm running now is 1 copy of Appaloosa. Surprisingly, it's very easy to make this in this deck. So, like, if you have the right card combination, you should be able to bring this out very quickly on your first turn. And you just bring back your Blue Eyes pretty efficiently. So, that's what I like about it. But yeah, moving on. So this is more of an Xyz focused deck. I am running still 1 copy of Hope Harbinger and 1 Photon Lord because it's a monster negation. To go with our Dragublion package, I decided to bring in number 62 because it is a dragon. And of course, Dragublion and Numeron Dragon. If I had a Heart Earth Dragon, I would run it, but unfortunately I don't have one, so I gotta make do with what I got. But if I did have it, I would run it 100%. But for right now, I am running number 23 Lancelot because people have been suggesting this. It's a spell and trap negation, and it can attack directly. It also negates monster effects too. And if I just want to go for like the Zeus play, I could just attack directly and then go to Zeus right away. So yeah, I figured why not. Alright, so moving on to the side deck. Running 3 copies of Joel and Lockbird because, you know, we're still getting Drytron. We still got Sky Striker around. You know, any deck that searches heavily, this is the best card to do it. 3 Lancea to deal with Tri-Brigade or any other Eldritch decks out there, so yeah. For back row heavy strategies, 2 copies of Twin and a Harpy's Feather Duster. I might cut this for a 3rd Twin, actually. And 1 copy of Called by the Grave in case if I really need it. Because honestly, like, 2 Triple T should be fine. I don't really think you need Called by the Grave in this deck, but, you know, that's just me. 3 Dimensional Barrier, you know, just to stop, like, fusion decks. Because, you know, Destroyer Phoenix is in the format, so you definitely want to stop that from happening. Also running 1 Skill Drain and 1 copy of Red Reboot. So yeah, I think Red Reboot should be played in almost every side deck in my opinion, but too bad it's only at 1, so that's the only unfortunate bit. Oopsie, sorry, my arm got in the way. But anyway, that's it for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will catch you guys again next time.